Prospect with integrity, we will get customers who have integrity. Integrity is the foundation from which everything is built on.
You better understand value. But at the end of the day, sales is a relationship business. It is a people business. It is an emotional business.
This is Sales Logic.
This is Sales Logic, and welcome. 8 a.m. Saturday morning here on the East Coast. But Mark, where the heck are you?
I'm in Manila, and it's 9 o'clock Saturday night. So what the heck, I mean, I was supposed to be coming home today, but no, the weather in Texas has me staying here in Manila for a couple more days. You're trying to get to D.C. on Monday for an event. Welcome to winter, right? Hey, but you know what? As salespeople, we find a way to get there, get things done. So, hey, good to be with you live on a Saturday morning.
or live on a Saturday night. So
that's right.
No matter where we are in the world, it is always time for Sales Logic. So, Mark, what is on the schedule for today?
Well, the topic is, how do you save a bad sales week? And hey, we got a lightning round. Lightning round is top 10 worst sales questions you can ask. And believe me, we're all guilty of it. So stick around for the lightning round. So let's get back to the topic here. How do you save a bad sales week?
Mark, I sort of feel like I jinxed us with this topic. The question came in and I thought, well, that's a great subject to discuss on here, but you've had a challenging week. I certainly have had a challenging week, and it's and I don't know. I sort of think like that came off. I think first and foremost is having a great attitude. I mean, that is not easy. It's a really easy thing to say, simple thing to say, but it's not easy. But you've got to realize this too will pass. I mean, part of sales is having a bad sales week. It doesn't always work in your favor. And I think you need to just not fight it and accept the fact that sometimes things are not going to turn out as they need to.
It's so true, because it's not a straight line upward to success. Stuff happens, and it happens all the time. Like I got my flights canceled, and suddenly it's got me scrambling, changed my Monday schedule, my Tuesday schedule, and who knows what else. You've had a difficult issue with other things happening, and difficult week undoubtedly coming up, but you learn to roll with it. And this is the whole thing. It's only a week. The sun's still going to come up in the morning. And, you may have a difficult week, but who knows what the following week is going to bring. So just breathe, relax, move on.
Yeah, Bryn Tillman, welcome to the show today. She's got some great feedback here. When you take a moment, take a breath and do the assessment that Bryn is talking about. Mm-hmm. What went wrong this week? Why did everything go upside down? What went right this week? And what I'm going to do more of, and what can I stop? And then she has a great suggestion to go get some referrals. Mark, I probably have had the worst 2 weeks I have had in a long time. I mean, I've been spammed. My bank accounts got hacked. I'm missing a lot of money. My Uber driver had an accident. I couldn't get another flight out. I had to drive 2 hours to another airport, fly Spirit Airlines, get to an engagement. I just felt like everything was going wrong. But I was texting back and forth with my girlfriend, who I'd seen when I was in Florida for an engagement. And she asked me that very question. She said, "What did you learn from this?" And I learned a couple of really good lessons from every single thing that had happened to me. And it was a great question. It's exactly what Bryn is talking about here. Just when you take a moment, take a breath, and kind of figure out. It's not that you intentionally did anything wrong, but you can learn from yourself.
Well, you can learn from something. And there's always positive stuff in there, because I look at this. Stuff goes wrong all the time. And, you say, okay, hey, what can I learn from it? And what's the upside? Because the downside is never as dark, except for you having your bank account hacked, is never as dark as you think it is. And at the same time, the mountaintop is never as high. So take a moment, just take a piece of paper, jot down, what are the things that did go right this last week? What are the things? And and use that to build on. I love Bryn's comment about go get some referrals. And one of the easiest ways to turn your attitude around is to go give some referrals. It's amazing how when you give some referrals, it just starts to change your attitude. Because here's the whole thing. You can't allow a bad sales week to turn into a bad sales month, a bad sales quarter, so forth. So you got to nip it in the bud. And again, that's why you and I are both saying the same thing. You take a step back, you breathe. What did go right? What are some of the things that you learn from it? And out of every problem comes an opportunity. I firmly believe that. And I'm sure you've blown some sales calls. I've blown more than a few sales calls. And you take a step back and you do that little bit of assessment and you realize, hey, you know what? I could change this. I could change that. And it would probably make it a whole lot better. And you just move on because again, there's always going to be another opportunity.
Yeah, I love what Terry Brock is saying here. We always can learn from the Marine Corps, right? As he's reminding us that the Marine Corps says improvise, adapt, and overcome. Here's the other thing: is that so kind of like I was saying, my bad week. I'm missing quite a bit of money out of my bank account. Everything in my computers all got shut down again yesterday because they've gone back in to those. But it's interesting. I was playing tennis at 6 a.m. yesterday morning, and I had client calls all day yesterday. And a client said to me, "Why are you on the phone? Why are you on a call with me? Why aren't you handling all your stuff?" And here's what I think about overcoming a bad sales week is focusing on other people and focusing on what you do calms anxiety. Like, what am I going to do? I mean, I've turned this over to the experts. I'm doing everything I can do. But at the end of the day, I can't just sit around and think about it all day long. And so activity calms anxiety. I mean, you talked about blowing a deal. I lost one the other day that I was so sure I had. I was so sure it was in my pocket. And thing I do is I pick up and I start making sales calls because that calms my anxiety.
Oh, so good there. And here's the whole thing. You can't allow one bad call, one bad activity, one bad week to suddenly impact others. So you got to compartmentalize it because otherwise what happens is past actions, you can't allow them to drive future performance. You can change future performance, and that's what you have to realize. You've got to be able. So this is a key thing that I found. When I make a mistake, something goes wrong, you're right, you get this deal that you think you got and you don't get it. So it's okay. You just put it aside and you find something else. And the faster you get the activity going, it's amazing how it begins to change your whole mindset. And then you just move on. And again, it's one deal. It's 1 week. Breathe, relax. I think what happens is average and low performers who don't have much in their pipeline stress out much more over a bad week. Top performers, they realize, just like you know what? I'm going to go get another deal. You look at the bigger picture, you look at the long term, and there's plenty of upside.
Yeah, I love we've got a LinkedIn listener here. It says reset. How can we prevent bad deals from influencing future deals? Roger Federer, famous tennis player, resets after every missed play. I mean, athletics is a great thing to look at, right? Look at the top of the game, and they fail quite a bit. I was watching a professional golf tournament this weekend, and I watched miss putt after miss putt, and I think to myself, my God, how much do you people practice? And then you still miss putts, right? So it is about really, getting perspective. The other thing I think, Mark, is I don't know if this is accurate or not, but it works for me, is the fact that if I don't have adversity, I don't get better. Like if I hadn't had the last 2 weeks I've had, and I'm not sure it's over. This week could be even worse. But it's forcing me to go inward and do things that are uncomfortable for me, that push me out of my zone, that take me to another level. I mean, I've had to get more educated on my computer than I typically just delegate that crap out. And I'm like, yeah, I don't have to pay any attention to it. And it's forced me to pay attention at a level that I was not paying attention at before.
Yeah, see, you're learning from that. The old expression, iron sharpens iron. So if there is some adversity, if there is problems, it is amazing at how we become stronger. I find that those people who have gone through difficult situations always wind up to be, you know what? Those are the people you want to hang out with going down the road because they know how to handle. Because the next time something comes up, they just roll with it. They just know how to adapt, which really, I think, takes us to the question of the week. It comes to us and it says, hey, I've missed my goals 4 weeks in a row. I feel like throwing in the towel. Any ideas on how to turn things around? Because it's going downhill fast. It comes to us from Jason. He's an account exec in B2B tech. Now, I say, here's my challenge with you, Jason. You're looking at week by week. Hey, breathe. Look at it month to month. Look at quarter basis. Look at a longer picture. There's always more opportunities out there if you look at the forest rather than looking at the tree right in front of you.
Yeah, I think number one, I think you need to rebuild your confidence. I mean, you're sitting there looking at week 4 and I get you. I mean, week 4, I'd be freaked out too. Goal after goal. I'm like, oh my God, I'm seeing a trend. This isn't good. We're going to be living on the street, eating ramen noodles. I mean, I'm right with you. I stress on it. You need a confidence builder. You need to go call existing customers. I would take Monday of this week. And you know what? You're most likely you're in a part of this country that's going to experience this storm. Nobody's leaving their homes. Pick up the phone, call them, reach out with an email. Well, number one, it's going to remind you when you were landing deals. The other is calling existing customers. We always find something. I mean, you call existing customers, you're always going to find something. It doesn't need to be a massive deal. It doesn't need to be the one that gets you back on goal, but sometimes you just need a shot of adrenaline, and you need a shot of adrenaline to get your confidence back to deal with some of the missed goals you're dealing with.
And if nothing else, what they're going to do is they're going to say how wonderful you are. Hey, how great it is to work with you. That alone is going to build up your confidence. The worst thing you can do is sit in a corner and not talk to anybody. This is the whole thing. You've got to be making calls. You've got to be creating motion. You got to be creating activity. This is why it's so important, I think, for every salesperson to have a peer, to have an advisor. You and I have a mastermind group, and it allows us to exchange ideas and share, and we build each other up, we lift each other up. And that is so key, because if you go through slumps like this and you don't have an out, you don't have other things that you can kind of rely on, it is amazing at how you'll sink yourself lower and lower, because all you do is your mind keeps playing games with you. That's why you got to pick up the phone, call customers, call people, call them out there. And you know what? It's amazing. Stuff begins to turn.
Yeah, I think you also need a little outside perspective. I mean, sometimes we're so close to what we're doing, we can't really see what we're doing wrong, or where we're wasting time, or where we're wasting energy. Go get your boss if you think your boss is awesome. If you don't, go get a peer, somebody you think is really, really good in this space, and get them to give you some feedback on what you're doing, and get them to go through that exercise that Bryn Tillman gave you of what you're doing well and what you're doing wrong. I can't tell you how many times I've had somebody else look at what I'm doing and they pick out something that is so simple that if I wasn't sitting right on top of it, I probably would have seen it. But I'm just immersed in the mess I'm going through right now that I can't see what needs to be fixed or what needs to be changed. So get a little bit outside perspective. I think you should do that even if you're killing it or struggling.
Because we're so close to the trees, we can't see the forest. This
Yeah.
is the problem. You've got to be able to take that step back. And that's one of the whole things. And the other piece you got to remember, don't think you're the only person that's ever had these problems. Everybody goes through issues like this where, you know what? It's just not going right. Things are falling apart. It's okay. It is a part of sales. Hey, keep in mind this. If sales was easy and every week was cupcakes, everybody be in sales. There's a reason why we make the money we make in sales, because it can be hard. And these are the challenges that you're going to face, and you simply power through them. But you will get through them if you put your mindset in the right place, that you will get through it, and don't dwell on what happened in the past. Just move on.
Yeah, yeah. Just get, get back on the horse. The other thing you need to do is take a little bit of reflection time. Like, you need to write down the things that have been going well, the things that you're grateful for, and remind yourself that this is sales. You're bigger than sales. You may be involved in a great relationship. You may really contribute back to your community. You may be a parent or a great aunt or a great uncle. And just think about the areas in your life where you do excel, and remind yourself that it's bigger than work. I've got to do that with myself a lot. My identity is so wrapped up in work that, when things don't go well, I get really upset about it. And I find people do that with sports. Like, whenever we lose a tennis match or we have a bad round of golf, we don't do this professionally. Like, why are we getting so twisted out of shape? It's one aspect of our life. This is one aspect of your life. So step back, get a little bit of perspective of all the amazing things you do.
Oh, that's such a good point. I remember a couple of weeks ago on the show, I shared that one of the things that I do when I'm having issues like
Yeah.
that is I have a little notebook that I write down 10 things that I'm grateful for, 10 things that I'm thankful for. And I do that first thing in the morning. I don't do it every morning, but I do it most mornings. And it's amazing how it begins to change your attitude, it changes your perspective, and you really begin to realize how much you have that is really going good. And it helps reframe, reset your day. The thing you got to keep in mind is each day, each week is a new day, is a new week. And the scoreboard reads 0-0. Don't bring the negativity over to you. Remember, I used to say this to the salespeople who reported to me. They'd have a great quarter and it'd be the start of a new quarter, and they'd be, and I go, hey, I don't care. That was last quarter. What are you going to do this quarter? Because again, it's this quarter. And it's the same thing. If somebody failed, if somebody was struggling, you're right. That was last quarter. Guess what? You get to start all over again right now. That's the beautiful thing about sales. All it takes is one call, one meeting, and suddenly everything can change.
I think that is the mic drop moment of this podcast right there, is that I was sitting here yesterday and I had a deal that went cold, and it's a honking big deal. It's like super exciting. And I've had the worst week freaking ever. And the deal went really, really, really cold. And then all of a sudden at like 3:00 yesterday afternoon, I get an email that her CEO wants to talk to me, and we've got a call set for next week. And it's all it really takes is, but if you don't do the action, that miracle thing will not happen, right? Like, you're doing the action because something is going to come through, right? So, you need to keep doing the activity, but marry that activity. It's really important what Bryn told you at the beginning of this. Take the time to assess. Don't do activities that are a waste of time and energy. Like, you want to make sure you do more of the right activities, but keep going. It's just going to take one to turn it around.
Yeah, and sometimes when to do those things, you got to do just little tiny things. Sometimes it's just creating a little bit of motion. All you're doing is just creating a little bit of motion, a little bit of motion, a little bit of motion, and then it slowly but surely picks up. So it may be just a couple simple phone calls to a couple customers to clarify something, to clear something up. Then it's a couple more, and then you just slowly but surely begin picking up your pace. And it's amazing how quickly you can get back on task. And what you do to do that is you make a list. You make a list. These are going to be the 8 or 10 things or 12 things or 5 things that you're going to get done today. And you be very precise about those things. And you just pound them out one after another after another. And what you're doing is you're making progress. You're making motion. You're traveling down the road, and you're going to begin to see success. But if you just sit there and say, oh, I'm missing my number. Oh, I'm missing my number. And you stew on it, by picking up the phone and calling others who are missing their number. And that's the biggest mistake of all, right? Is when you go hang out with other people who are struggling. Because guess what? You will all find yourself in the sewer hole real quick.
Yeah, I also think this is, you need to ask for help. I mean, if I had 4 weeks in a row where I missed my sales goal, it would not be the time to be prideful. It's the time to ask for help. And I'll tell you, anybody who's really successful is smart enough to ask for help when they need it. And when you miss it 4 weeks in a row, I think there's nothing more depressing than working your tail off and missing your goal. So just ask somebody else for help. Just go get the best person who's hitting their goal and just learn from them.
And you know what? That right there could be a great lesson, because maybe you've never done that before. You've never done that before. And now suddenly, because of this, you're in this state where you've got to do something different. So now you reach out to somebody and you get some guidance from somebody. And suddenly you realize, you know what? I can do this more often. See, it's amazing how many times when you go challenging time, you go through difficult, how it forces behavior change that then really becomes implanted in you, and you're a different person going forward. Hey, time is rolling along. We got a great book this week. It's written by this person by the name of Meredith Elliott Powell. I think that's you. Yeah. 30 Days to Sales Success. Tell the audience about the book, because it's an excellent.
All it is, it's just a little simple book that is specifically exactly what you need to do to turn a prospect into a customer and a customer into a raving fan that refers to you. I wrote the book because that was the question I got asked the most often, is how do I turn a prospect into a customer? How do I get the deal to close? And it's a little step-by-step guide on exactly how to do that. No chapter is more than 600-700 words. It's a quick, easy read that you can go back to, but it's got every step that you need to get yourself over a bad sales week.
And that's what I like about the book, because it's simple. You can just pick it up and begin to apply it right away. You see, that's what's amazing. So many times the keys to success are not as difficult as you make them out to be, as much as we think they are. Because, I'm going through this challenge. No, it's just going through the steps. So pick up the book by Meredith, 30 Days to Sales Success. Okay, you ready for the lightning round?
I am.
Top 10 worst sales questions to ask. Not that you've ever asked them, but maybe somebody you know has.
Well, I just shot a video about this one because it makes me crazy. It's not necessarily that it's a bad question, but the time it gets asked is wrong. I hate being asked right at the very beginning, how did you hear about us?
Oh, you got that one right. Here's the question.
Yeah, it just tells me you're more interested in yourself than me.
Right. And it's wait a minute. Let's find out who you are first. Let's find out some information about that. I love that. Number 2, just checking in. Excuse me. That's what you do at a hotel. Oh, that's where I'm sitting at right now. No, you do not ask a customer. I'm just checking in to see how you're doing.
Yeah, this used to be a great question, number 3, but it's a bad question right now, is what keeps you up at night? If you don't know before you walk into that sales call what keeps somebody up at night, then you're way off the mark.
Clearly the 80s are calling and they want that question back. Number 4, hey, did you see my previous email? I'm resending it to you again. Hey, look, it was a bad email. You sent it once. Why are you sending it again a second time and calling it out to them? Really dumb.
Yeah. I think another one is to directly ask, are you the decision maker? Now, there's a way you need to ask that to figure it out, but to do that's kind of insulting.
Oh, I like that. In fact, the question you ask is, how have you gone about making decisions like this in the past? Again, that's a very open question, getting people to talk, getting people to share. Number six on the list is very simply this. Are you ready to buy? Are you ready to make that decision today? Hold it. It's their decision to make, not you to tell them when to make it.
Yeah. How about this one, Mark? So tell me about your company. I mean, if you didn't do research to say, I've done my homework, here's what I've learned. Let's talk a little bit more about these particular areas.
I'm going to add to that one. So what is it that you do here? Tell me about your job. Excuse me, you haven't done your homework before you got in there?
Yeah. How about, do you have a few minutes?
Oh, I hate asking that question, especially at the beginning of the call because they don't even know you. What are they going to say? Oh, yeah, they were just sitting around waiting for you to call.
Yeah.
And number 10, what I think is the absolute worst question is, okay, so you're not the decision maker. Who should I be talking to? Oh man, you talking about an offensive question. There you go. That was a great list. So
No, I got to add one, Mark. I got to add one because it's
yeah,
my pet peeve. Is that what do I need to do to earn your business? Talk about the 80s calling again, but the truth is I need to know what I need to do to earn your business. That was the whole importance of the interview. And Bryn's piping in here. Don't ask anything you could have learned from the LinkedIn profile. All right. Great list. Great show. I got to
bang on.
those questions out of my homework, out of my
Hey,
interview.
that's absolutely. Hey, if you got a sales kickoff meeting, make sure you pick up the phone. I've been over here in where am I at? Manila, the Philippines, speaking to a large group. You've got several next week. I've got another one next week. Hey, give us a buzz. We'd love to talk, love to be part of your sales kickoff events. And with that, we want to say thank you for listening to Sales Logic this week. If you like what you hear, subscribe, rate, and review the show on your favorite podcast app. If something we've said has earned you a single dollar, consider telling a friend about our show because it's how we grow when we help you grow. I'm Mark Hunter.
And I'm Meredith Elliott Powell.
Remember, when you sell with confidence and integrity,
all of this uncertainty suddenly becomes your competitive advantage.
And the sale becomes logical.
All right. We'll see you right back here next week for another episode of Sales Logic. Mark's got to go to bed. It is 9:30 now in Manila, and we're going to cross our fingers he makes it home on Monday.
You got it. Take care.
Yeah. All right. See you next week. Bye.